I'm passionate about what I do for a living because I know what I do for a living, which may seem small to someone else, is so huge to me. I get to make women feel amazing and how they show up for the world and for what they go through in their
Yeah.
life. I'm a glimmer of hope and happiness in their life. And it means so much to me
Yeah.
that I can do that for my ladies.
Yeah.
They walk in feeling one way and they walk out, bouncing out of my chair, ready to take on whatever it is that is on their plate.
Yeah.
We all have plates and
Yeah.
we all have to deal with our lives and things that are going on. I just want them to be able to show up as confidently and as beautifully as they feel when they leave.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Access Las Vegas. My name is Sharelle Mendenhall, your host, and today I get to bring a special guest. She's my personal friend, hairstylist, and business magician. So welcome to the show, Gina Greco.
Thank you so much, Sharelle, for having me. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, I want to start with the power of social media.
Yes.
Because your mom is the one that shared your business
Yes.
and your work. And
Yes.
that's actually how I ended up getting connected with you.
Absolutely. Yes. It's a powerful tool and it's at all of our fingertips and absolutely free. And just, it's more about relationships, and connecting people through different avenues. And my mom being in the beauty pageant industry has been a huge, help with growing my business and vice versa. We share each other's networks and they've grown into other networks and it's really been powerful. Yes. And so I'm grateful for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because, so often before, in order to have your own website, in order to have your own marketing, you needed someone dedicated
Absolutely.
to building that platform and building that business with you, and weeks of building a platform, weeks of building a website. But now we
Yes.
actually have marketing at our fingertips.
Yeah. And it's so powerful because you get to showcase your work, your skills, your availability, so much goes into it. And then it's like a tree, it branches off into the next network. And it's just been really powerful in growing my business.
Yeah. I want to go into a little bit of your why. So obviously throughout the years that I've known
Yes.
you, I've got to see just you, your mom, your journey, hear a little bit of your story, but not the full part.
Right.
And so if I could, I
Yes.
want to go to a place where you have went from a really tough time in your life to now overcoming. So let's talk a little bit about that tough time and what you've done to overcome.
Yes. I went through several ups and downs, obviously, throughout life. But it started basically when I decided my children's father and I were no longer compatible, and I decided to move on from that. From that point, I had to start my own journey, my own business. And I've always been very artsy, very creative. I've always loved doing hair. It's been a passion of mine since I was a little girl. I worked in a beauty supply as a child and watched people do hair inside the beauty supply. And it was just what I wanted to do. I never wanted to be in an office. I never wanted to clock in or, put on a pantsuit. I just always wanted to just live within my creative self. And so my hair journey was, it's been since I was 17 years old. So anyway, I grew my business mostly off of social media and word of mouth. That was the only avenue I could afford at that time. And I was able to grow my business. And at some point throughout that time, I got very ill and basically started to lose my business because I was trying to work through an illness. And eventually I lost my business, which then in turn I lost my home. It was the hardest time of my life. My kids were pretty much grown at that time, but I was suffering through severe depression, the lowest time of my life, a darkness that I could never explain to someone. It's not something you can explain. You can't even imagine how dark your life can get, suffering through grief and trauma. And I was at the lowest point of my life. And my mother, who we've mentioned already, she did all she could do to help me. And I then had to move in with my mother and start trying to get healthy. It was felt I felt lost. I felt helpless. Hopeless was a word that I used often. I was put into hands of human beings, doctors, who tried to help and through their own mouths said, "We don't know what else to do for you."
Wow.
So I really felt a strong sense of hopelessness and desperation for healing and it got really bad. It became mental and physical to where I lost about 40 pounds and couldn't eat, couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. It was very debilitating. And at that point was when I went through my array of emotions as far as how I was feeling about God. I was angry that he would have taken me as far as he did. And I just felt like, how could you leave me in the dark like this? And it was at that point I couldn't trust in anybody except God to help me through this time. And it was the church that brought me out of this. It wasn't anything that man could have done. There was nothing that man could have done, you know. And so I put my full hope and faith and worked on my relationship with God.
Wow.
I always had, in my family, I was raised, we believed in God.
Yeah.
We, thanked God. We prayed, God, no, please, no. But we didn't build our relationships with God. We didn't have a relationship. It was church once in a while.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, you think, oh, thank God,
Yeah.
But actually nurturing a relationship with God is what brought me through that time.
Yeah. And that looks so different.
It's so, so incredible. And that was what brought me through. And continues every day. I get to, wake up with a newfound spirit and grateful heart.
Yeah.
And it changed my life completely.
Yeah. And, something that, your mom never disclosed what was going on, but I would check in and she's just like, Joe, I just need you to pray for Gina. Like, like she was your advocate, because she knew I personally loved you.
Yeah.
And so she's like, Joe, I was like, hey, how's Gina? Yes. She's like, Joe, just pray for Gina. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Yes.
Please pray for Gina.
Yes.
And so, and your mom, her cancer journey and all this, like we would sit there and we would pray through her cancer journey.
Yes.
And something you said, just so powerful. It's just like, man can't, but God can.
Exactly.
And there's several different things like within this that I would just want to glean out is because you are excellent at hair. And you're doing what you love.
Yes.
And I truly believe that we are supposed to do what we love with excellence. We're supposed to do it so well, so it makes room for opportunity to be able to do things like you never know what door that will open. And God even promises that over your life.
Exactly.
That your skill set will put you before kings.
Absolutely.
When you do good at what you, no matter what it is,
yes,
it's going to open the next door and the next
absolutely.
door and the next door, but be excellent in all that you do.
Yes,
as if you're working into the Lord. And so I love that. And then just the right people you've surrounded yourself with and just hearing your story of just this rebuilding and just each win that you're getting once you brought back God into your life, not just back, but
nurtured,
a real relationship. And you're like, man, like here's the keys to my house.
Yes.
Having my family in my house this holiday, having, a new car, that's just the different steps of rebuilding with God after the journey of what you felt was hopeless.
Absolutely. It was life-changing, life-altering. My relationship with him is so strong now. And I talk to God. I seek him out. I open my Bible. I'm involved with God, you know, and that has been life-changing for me in every possible way.
Yeah.
I treat my body more of a temple than I ever have. work on the health of my mind and my body daily.
Yeah.
And nurture the love and the relationships that are the most important in my life. And I'm passionate about what I do for a living, because I know what I do for a living, which may seem small to someone else, is so huge to me. I get to make women feel amazing and how they show up for the world and for what they go through in their life. I'm a glimmer of hope and happiness in their life. And it means so much to me that I can do that for my ladies. You know, they walk in feeling one way and they walk out, you know, bouncing out of my chair, ready to take on whatever it is that is on their plate.
Yeah.
We all have plates and we all have to deal with our lives and things that are going on. I just want them to be able to show up as confidently and as beautifully as they feel when they leave. So,
I love that so much. And I'm one of them. You know, like I just come in and it's just like, I know and I can trust you because you're so good in what you do. And something that's one of my favorites, you don't take forever. Like I am such a person who's just like, I don't want to waste time.
I hear that often. I do hear that one often. Yes. Time, you know, people are busy. They don't want to sit in the salon for hours. I mean, that is something that just you cultivate, you develop over time. That's not something that anyone can just be fast and, you know, do a good job. Because without having a great job, you know,
fast doesn't work.
Fast doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't. And it's like, on today's health tip with Access Las Vegas, yet another biblical biohack. You can actually find this in Proverbs 18:21. Something so powerful about this verse, it says there is life and death in the power of the tongue. Well, science actually backs that up. You can speak over water and then freeze it, and watch when you speak negatively, it actually turns into this fractured and ugly crystallization. But if you speak positive, if you speak life into this water, it changes into these beautiful snowflakes. Our bodies are made up of at least 70% water. Imagine what can happen when we start speaking positive over our lives. We speak the scripture, we speak the word of God and life over every situation, even if it seems hopeless. So I challenge you guys this week to start speaking life over every situation. Speak a word from God. Speak a verse and watch things change. I want to talk about a couple principles, you know, in business, because you are really good at what you do. And so, you know, just when people are stepping up and they can hear your story and be like, man, I was up, I had everything, I lost everything. And now I'm rebuilding again. And, you know, it's important to give yourself that next chance, whatever is the 1000th time you're getting back up again. So as you're getting back up, as you're going on this journey, what are some practical things that you were doing on a daily basis to rebuild your business again?
The things that I mostly focused on was honing in more on my skill set, taking a little bit more initiative in getting caught up and more familiar with the newest techniques and new ways of doing things. Lots of classes, lots of posting, lots of sharing my work, lots of reading.
Right. Which is huge.
Is huge. Yes. And building myself not just as a hairstylist, but as a woman that when a client sits down in my chair, they feel a sense of trust as soon as they sit down. Working on my confidence. So good. As a woman, just being confident it's an energy, and energy is transferable. It's contagious. So they pick up on that. And they, you know, I'll meet someone and 5 minutes after sitting in my chair, they're like, I trust you. And I'm like, how? I don't understand how. And they're like, I don't know. I just do. And so just really working on myself as a well-rounded woman and businesswoman has really benefited my business indirectly, you know. So
directly and indirectly.
Directly and indirectly.
Because, you know, in being intentional, because in any industry, when you stop learning, when you stop seeing the new techniques coming out, I don't care if you're in data, in hair, in makeup, in building, designing, you need to constantly be growing. One of my other
Yes.
interviews, we were just talking about that, in the financial industry,
Yes.
you need to
Grow.
be constantly learning, constantly growing.
Yes.
And that causes you to be better every single day.
That's exactly right.
Fitness, 1%, 2%, whatever it is,
Yes.
0.2% better every single day.
You definitely want to be growing in this industry. It's forever changing. There's always, there are a lot of times trying to reinvent the wheel, and I know that. And, there's a lot of trends going on, lots of trends, and clients, because they are aware of the trends because of social media, will say, I want this. And it's like, that may or may not work for you.
Yeah.
And I might be able to show you a different way to achieve the same kind of, so they don't really know what they want. They want to follow the trends because that's what's being talked about and that's what's popular. But it's really important as a hairstylist to be able to sit a client down in your chair and give them the honest, full, explanation as to what would work for them and what wouldn't and why.
Yeah. I love that. I want to dive in on that too. It's like, because I constantly get questions about my hair.
Yes.
And as a hairstylist, I'm sure you've, through trial and error, a ton of different products that have come across your thing, a ton of different trends. What are a couple practical tips that everyone can do to have healthier hair?
Healthier hair. Healthier hair is going to require maintenance. It doesn't have to be high maintenance, but religious with your trims, 6 to 8 weeks. And it doesn't have to be a lot of hair. But it does have to be trimmed. Not going to bed with wet hair. Not overwashing, over conditioning. Maybe 3 times a week maximum.
What do you do in between times then?
You would do different hairstyles, like someone like you could do, an updo or a bun or a ponytail or a half up or something like that. But you can switch up your style. Sometimes I'll do, if my hair is not the cleanest, I'll, do a cute pony and pull some pieces down. So just get a little more versatile with your hair styling so that you don't always feel like you have to be bouncy and, full and, also the hot tools, we have a love-hate relationship with them. You don't have to turn them all the way up to be effective on your hair. Maybe 300, 325 is maybe the hottest you need to be. You don't need to turn it all the way up. I always just say it's kind of like an oven, if you put your food into the highest temperature, it's going to burn. So is your hair. So, and not so often. Less with the hot tools.
That was a game changer for me, because I used to do it every single day, wash my hair every single day, absolutely religiously. And, it like to be able to grow it, have it healthy, everything and not have to have extensions. I needed to be able to find ways and tools. And I'll even take a soft scrunchie that I think like is a game changer because my hair weirdly tangles really easy.
Yes.
And so a soft scrunchie and put my hair up in a bun and sleep in that. And that was a huge game changer for me.
Yes.
Not having breakage or like knotting to every time I brush it and it was like breaking more off. But that was a game changer for me.
Yeah. Another thing I would definitely recommend is definitely find someone you trust. Trust is so important when it comes to your hairstylist because a lot of times you may ask for something that you don't necessarily need. We, tend to, gravitate towards stylists that give us what we want, but sometimes that's not necessarily the best thing for your hair. So if I tell you, no, Sharelle, not today, just, you trust me. So it's not going to be today, you know? As a hairstylist, we just love people, love people and care for them and care for their hair as well. So sometimes just, a little bit of putting your faith in your stylist goes a long way as far as your health journey and your hair journey.
Yeah.
So definitely.
and I'm so thankful for you on so many levels, and just like your creativity, and not only that, like your passion for it, and even just listening to you. She's like, oh, I want to make myself better so that I can be a better stylist, so I can be better for the people that are in my chair.
Yes.
Ooh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. I mean, how many people do that in any, industry? And there's you doing it like intentionally.
Well, part of being a hairstylist is the therapy that goes on in the chair. I mean, we hear everything. We hear the good, the bad. We hear it all. And we're a non-biased ear to listen to, and a shoulder to lean on. So having, a good understanding of people and having some good advice that's kind of non-biased is invaluable. I mean, I really have built some amazing friendships with clients that, started as clients and are now friends. So,
good.
Yeah.
Man, our time has literally flown. And
wow.
I don't want to walk away without them being able to know where to follow you, how they follow you. Before that, but just 30 seconds, what would be one piece of advice that you would give an individual who's just starting back up again? They've gotten hit, but now they're like, you know what? I've got God. I'm going to do it again. What's the piece of advice you would give them?
I would say focus on your friends and family mostly. First of all, focus on them. Get really good at your skill set. Take as many possible classes as you can. There's tons of free education. I know money can be tight sometimes. Some of the classes are really expensive. There's lots of free workshops. There's so much information that you can literally fill up your day with learning. Get really good and nurture relationships. Your relationships are where your business is. If Sharelle trusts me, she's going to trust to send her best friend or her sister or her mother to me. And then that comes with trust. So now your friends and your mother or your sister, they instantly come with trust. So it's just more about relationship building and staying, caring, caring about your clients, follow up with them, make sure that they love their hair. If there's anything that they're not happy with, fix it. They'll be back if you care.
Good.
Yeah.
So good. All right. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Gina Greco. You can find me on Instagram at Gigi Stylist. That's GIGISTYLIST. I am also at Salon Nouveau in Henderson, Nevada. That is top of Eastern by Anthem. And the address is 11125 Southeastern. Again, Salon Nouveau. I'm up there with Vanessa and all the girls. And we have a really good culture going on up there in that salon. So that's where.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Gina. It has been a pleasure. You guys, thank you for joining us here on Access Las Vegas. I love her story. I love her mission and her journey, that it's not about just being successful, but sometimes when you've gotten knocked down, you get to pick yourself back up and have an even better journey to the rest of your life. Thank you for joining us. You guys, I am coming to you so thankful for Century H2O, because not only are they changing water, changing lives, but they're also partnering with us to give back to the Roar Fest. So when you use code TRF, you're getting 10% off of everything that you purchase through Century H2O, but also they're going to be giving back 10% to the Roar Fest, and we're going after preventing child trafficking this year. So don't forget, go to centuryh2o.com and use code TRF.
Access Las Vegas is hosted by Sharelle Mendenhall. Follow her online at Sharelle Mendenhall. Thank you to Gina Greco for being our guest on this week's episode. Connect with Gigi online on Facebook and Instagram at Gigi Stylist.